hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before. And the moment you decide to no longer think the same way, make the same choice, act the same way, create the same experience, or live by the same emotion, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel unfamiliar. There is going to be a certain amount of uncertainty and unpredictability. And the moment you feel uncomfortable, you just stepped into the river of change. Now, most people, the moment they feel uncomfortable, they return back to the familiar state of the mind and body. They start thinking the same way, acting the same way, feeling the same way, and they say, this feels right. No, in fact, that feels familiar. Now, going from the old self to the new self is the neurological, is the chemical, is the biological, is the hormonal, and even genetic death of the old self. That void, that place of uncertainty, that unknown, is the perfect place to create it. And if you and I can become comfortable in that unknown and begin to decide who we do want to be. In other words, many people say when they're in that unknown, I can't predict my future. This doesn't feel right. Well, the best way to predict your future is to create it, not in the known, but in the unknown. So what if you said now, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain? What behaviors do I want to demonstrate? And if you were to close your eyes and begin to think about how you are going to act, the mere act of mentally rehearsing who you're going to be begins to install the neurological circuits in your brain to look like the experience has already occurred. Now, what that means is that the brain is primed in its circuitry to no longer be living in the past, but now living in the future.
Your great life is on the other side of you doing uncomfortable things. Think about where you want to go. Think about who you want to be, what you want to accomplish, the life that you want. If you paused and took a few moments to think about who do you want to become and what do you want to do, chances are it's way different than what you're doing right now. Because if it was pretty close to what you're doing right now, it's not inspiring, it's not motivating, it's not big enough growth, it's too easy to go off accomplish. What you want is difficult, it's hard, it's scary. And so to become that person, it's going to require you to shed your skin a whole bunch of times. It's going to require you to go from the caterpillar to the butterfly. It's going to require a lot of change, a lot of growth, a lot of opportunity. And inside of that, we're often afraid. We're afraid. We're afraid that we're not good enough. We're afraid we're not going to make it. We're afraid we're going to fail. We're afraid we're going to disappoint people. We're afraid that people will judge us. We're afraid people are going to laugh at us. We're afraid. We're afraid. You're afraid.